Welcome to Global Hub Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The South China Sea crackled with tension as the Unaiza May 4, a Philippine supply boat, edged toward the BRP Sierra Madre. Its mission: deliver vital supplies to Marines stationed on the rusting outpost at 2nd Thomas Shoal. But the boat was hemmed in by massive Chinese Coast Guard ships, their white hulls gleaming, their presence unmistakably menacing. The Chinese vessels moved with calculated precision, horns blaring, blocking the Philippine boat's path. Suddenly, a Chinese ship unleashed a powerful water cannon, drenching the deck and sending the Filipino crew scrambling for cover. The message from Beijing was clear: turn back or face escalation. Yet the Filipino captain held his course, refusing to yield. Journalists on board captured every moment, broadcasting the confrontation to the world. What was once a hidden clash had become a global spectacle. The courage of the Filipino sailors was undeniable. They were outnumbered, but unbowed. Their small boat stood as a symbol of national sovereignty. Each supply run was a statement. The Philippines would not be bullied out of its own waters. The world watched as a tense standoff played out, a microcosm of a much larger struggle in the Indo-Pacific. The stakes were high, and every maneuver was fraught with risk. The confrontation at 2nd Thomas Shoal was no longer just a local dispute, it was a flashpoint in a global contest for control. The Filipino crew pressed on, determined to complete their mission. Their defiance sent a message far beyond the waves. The fight for the South China Sea was far from over. The outcome of this standoff would echo across the region. China's actions in the South China Sea are no accident. They're part of a calculated gray zone strategy. Instead of warships, China deploys its Coast Guard and a vast fleet of disguised militia boats to harass and intimidate. These vessels swarm, block, and ram ships from other nations using water cannons and even lasers to assert control. Filipino fishermen are chased from their own waters. Oil and gas projects are halted by Chinese interference. The goal: make it too dangerous for others to operate, hoping countries like the Philippines will eventually give up. China's campaign is a slow war of attrition, designed to change the facts on the water without open conflict. International condemnation has done little to stop these tactics. Responding with force risks escalation, leaving smaller nations in a bind. The Philippines faces a superpower with nearly limitless resources and patience. Every resupply mission to the Sierra Madre is a test of resolve. China wants the old ship gone, erasing the Filipino presence from the shoal. But each act of aggression is now met with global scrutiny. The shadow of the Chinese dragon looms over the South China Sea, its presence felt daily. The region is caught in a dangerous game of nerves. The world waits to see who will blink first. For years, the Philippines quietly protested Chinese aggression, but little changed. Under President Marcos Jr., a new approach emerged: assertive transparency. Now, every confrontation is documented and broadcast, exposing China's actions to the world. Journalists ride along on supply missions, capturing footage of water cannon attacks and blockades. The evidence is undeniable. Small Philippine boats harassed by much larger Chinese vessels. This strategy has shifted the narrative, earning the Philippines international sympathy and support. China can no longer control the story or deny its actions. President Marcos Jr. has taken the fight to global forums, demanding respect for international law. The combination of on-the-ground documentation and high-level diplomacy has put China on the defensive. Assertive transparency has become a game-changer. The Philippines is no longer isolated, it's rallying the world to its cause. Every supply run is now a global event, shining a spotlight on China's aggression. The power of exposure is reshaping the conflict. At the heart of the standoff sits the BRP Sierra Madre, a rusting, immobile relic turned outpost. Once a U.S. tank landing ship, it was deliberately grounded in 1999 to mark Philippine territory at 2nd Thomas Shoal. The ship is battered by storms, its hull riddled with holes, but it stands as a stubborn symbol of sovereignty. For over 2 decades, Marines have endured harsh conditions to keep the flag flying. China demands its removal, calling it illegal. But for Filipinos, the Sierra Madre is a point of national pride. Each successful resupply is a victory, reinforcing the Philippines' claim. The ship is a living reminder of the 2016 International Tribunal ruling in Manila's favor. Its fate is uncertain. Typhoons and time threaten to break it apart. China's blockade makes repairs nearly impossible. Yet as long as the Sierra Madre endures, it signals the Philippines' refusal to back down. The struggle to keep it afloat is a race against both nature and Beijing's pressure. The ship's survival is tied to the region's future. It is a monument to resistance in the face of overwhelming odds. The world watches as this rusting hulk becomes a front line in the fight for a free Indo-Pacific. Its presence is a daily challenge to China's ambitions. Life aboard the BRP Sierra Madre is a test of endurance and resolve. Marines live in isolation, surrounded by ocean and hostile Chinese ships. Their world is confined to rusting decks and cramped quarters, far from home and comfort. Supplies are scarce, water is rationed, and storms threaten to tear the ship apart. The psychological strain is constant. Chinese vessels patrol nearby, watching every move. Yet the Marines remain vigilant, maintaining equipment and the national flag. Each resupply mission brings hope and anxiety, as comrades risk everything to reach them. Despite hardship, morale stays high. They know their mission matters. They are not just soldiers, they are guardians of sovereignty. Their resilience is a symbol of Filipino spirit and defiance. On this rusting outpost, a handful of Marines hold the line for an entire nation. The conflict's route is China's sweeping 9-dash line, claiming nearly the entire South China Sea. This claim overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and others. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China at the Permanent Court of Arbitration. The tribunal ruled in 2016. China's claim has no legal basis, and Second Thomas Shoal is within the Philippines' EEZ. The decision was final and binding, a major victory for international law. The world urged China to comply, but Beijing rejected the ruling outright. China doubled down, ignoring the law and increasing its presence. This defiance undermines the rules-based order and emboldens other powerful nations to ignore international law. The 2016 ruling remains a cornerstone of the Philippines' legal and moral case. It's a reminder that even small nations can win in the court of law. The challenge is turning legal victory into reality on the water. The struggle continues, with the world watching. The Philippines is not alone. It has the backing of the United States. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty commits both nations to defend each other in case of attack. Recently, Washington clarified, any armed attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea will trigger the treaty. This warning raises the stakes for China, acting as a powerful deterrent. The U.S. Navy regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations, challenging China's claims and supporting allies. Military cooperation has deepened. Joint exercises have grown, and the U.S. now has access to more Philippine bases. The U.S. is helping modernize the Philippine military and Coast Guard. Manila is also strengthening ties with India, Japan, and Australia, building a network of support. The acquisition of advanced missile systems and joint naval drills boosts the Philippines' defense. This growing alliance is a united front against Chinese aggression. The Philippines' bold stance is inspiring others and attracting real support. The message to Beijing: the Philippines is not isolated. Any escalation could draw in global powers. The balance of power in the region is shifting. The Philippines' assertive transparency is inspiring its Southeast Asian neighbors. Countries like Vietnam and Malaysia, once cautious, are now more vocal about Chinese incursions. Manila's model, leveraging international law, media, and alliances, shows smaller nations can push back. A new sense of solidarity is emerging among Southeast Asian claimants. Intelligence sharing and joint patrols are on the rise. China's divide-and-conquer strategy is being challenged by a more united front. If more countries adopt transparency, China's actions will face constant global scrutiny. The South China Sea is becoming a stage for resistance, not just submission. The Philippines' courage is sparking a regional movement for a rules-based order. The tide may be turning in the struggle for the sea. The South China Sea standoff is more than a territorial dispute. It's a test of will shaping the Indo-Pacific's future. At stake are two visions: a rules-based order versus might makes right. The Philippines, through assertive transparency, has rallied global support and exposed aggression. The BRP Sierra Madre stands as a symbol of resilience against overwhelming odds. The situation remains volatile. Any misstep could spark wider conflict. The world's attention is crucial. Continued focus may deter escalation. If the Philippines holds firm, it proves small nations can resist coercion. Failure could embolden bullies everywhere. The Marines and sailors at Second Thomas Shoal are on the front lines of a defining 21st century struggle. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher.